It's time for Tom McDonald. All right, friends. I'm so glad you're here. We are catching this one. It's only been 6 minutes. It was released. I looked at it earlier, 3 minutes earlier. It wasn't ready. Anyway, maybe it was me. All right. Are you guys ready for this? This is Dirty Money by Tom McDonald, and that's why we're here. So I'm not going to waste your time. Without further ado, let us now get into the heart of the message here.
They're angry that they'll never shut me up. I'm making more noise. Turn me up or turn me down, it's your choice. Black lives only matter when they got a corpse to exploit. Cause the media made millions off the protests for George Floyd. That's called ad revenue. They make cash selling you all the crap in the ads while they broadcast news. Ooh, the network full of liars got investment capital and segments sponsored by Pfizer. And the freedom fighters, I feel like the left just plants them to infiltrate the right. It's extensive planning. Then it happens overnight. It's impressive branding. Make $1 million off of shirts that say let's go Brandon. It's a cash grab, everyone's a lab rat. Amazon made billions of dollars from sanitizer and black mass, and that's that. Funny how the terrorists who attack always come from places that are oil rich and have gas. Democrats, they don't give a damn. What is this about? Our military trapped in the Middle East, can't get them out. Heroes are the ones who had the Constitution written down. Y'all are using hero while describing Kyle Rittenhouse.
1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cents, 4. We get less and they get more. Buying sold since we were born. They want money. We want dirty dollars fill their pockets while our coffins fill the ground. They make profits solving problems they create to keep us down. Dirty money. Dirty money. I don't want your dirty money.
They might kill me for this song. It's all
My Lord. Chris, are you listening to this, my friend? Oh my Lord. And that's something. Are you with me, Darth Vader?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay. All right, let me mute the video. Okay, go ahead. The video is muted.
So on most of what he said, I agree with.
Yeah, most.
Um,
He's exposing a lot.
he is. He's definitely exposing a lot, like the BLM movement and stuff like that. Um, like I've been. This is off his last two albums, the Renegade and
Uh-huh.
Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is off the Revolution, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Hmm. Anyway,
but my thing is the Kyle when he's talking about like Kyle Rittenhouse.
being called a hero.
Yeah, like people aren't exploiting him. It's the kid did what he had to do, and he has a message to put out about being able to defend yourself and do what's necessary to do so,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that you have the ability to do so.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
see, George, you get it.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
Yeah. But he also seemed to kind of like painting the picture that the system, whether you look at it Democrats or Republican, ultimately they're both about money and they are against the people of the country as a whole. It seems like that's what is trying to paint here. It's almost like they look like they're at odds with each other, but ultimately they are not because financially they're benefiting through their conflicts while they appear to be uh, for us, but ultimately they are really for themselves. They're about their own gain.
and that's the part of the message I do agree with.
Yeah, I can understand the nature of that. Yeah. Because
You
if you look
know,
at like Tucker Carlson situation that just happened with Fox News, you can see how that fits.
hmm
Yeah, it's like really
and
like you don't care about truth, you just care about your own gain and protecting your narrative, kind of thing.
and that's the kicker is it's like I think that there should be term limits for anybody who serves in Congress, just like for the president.
I agree. I
We
agree.
have way too many people that run for Congress over and over and over and over again for
Mhm.
their entire lives, don't do anything else. And that's not what the entire thing was designed to be like. It was supposed to be, you serve some time and then you go back to your daily life routine.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, Chris. I agree. All right, let's continue though.
I don't want your dirty money.
They might kill me for this song, it's all classified intelligence. Don't need to go to war to secretly be getting benefits. When Russia launches rockets, we condemn them, but there's evidence a US politician owns the screws they're assembled with. Ain't no war on drugs, it's economic. You make money off an inmate, every jail cell is profit. Our prisons are privately owned, illegal marijuana just mean kids smoking weed turn to dollars in their pockets, let's be honest. Domestic threats in comparison to nuclear powers who hate the West is embarrassing. Still we label truckers in the convoy as terrorists and confiscate donations, we have no idea where it is. A pipeline leaks, price of gas goes higher. Stock market crash, everybody gets fired. Economy is weak while we trying to beat a virus. $1 trillion in debt to China. We celebrate the smallest battles we're winning, so they can publish the headline that's gonna fuel division. But if we champion the crumbs, then it's crumbs that we're given. And we don't make any progress, we're stuck at the beginning.
1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cents, 4. We get less and they get more. By insult since we were born. They want money. Dirty dollars fill their pockets while our coffins fill the ground. They make profits, solving problems they create to keep us down. Dirty money. Dirty money. I don't want your dirty money.
Wow. Boy, he is taking a number of jabs at a lot that's going on in our culture. So much. He's
Hmm.
attacking, he's tearing a lot of stuff apart right now. He's like what I see him doing is like he come into a room and he's ripping everything down. He's ripping the picture. He attacks he goes after the bed, he flips the mattress. It's like he's flipping everything.
Yeah. He,
But I
he's
think
just burning down the house.
yeah, he is. But the thing is, there is a need for some of that to wake up some of us because even as a Republican, I noticed the party kind of is shaking hands behind the scene. Not all, we know that.
Hmm.
But some of them, like you call them the rhinos, Republicans in names only, there a lot of them are shaking hands behind the scene doing the baiting of, the deep state. They
Hmm.
are in bed with them. Um, so I can understand like what he's saying here. Like, and I think that's why Donald Trump is such a threat. For example, if you put Donald Trump in the equation, right, he troubles both Democrats and Republicans because even though he is a Republican, but he's a trouble to many in the Republican Party because he crosses them in so many different ways. And I'm like, I see where he's coming from, though. I get what Tom McDonald is doing, man.
Hmm.
He's exposing everything for what they are, and he's putting us in a position where we have to make our own decision concerning the facts he's laying out there. It's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
I don't agree. I don't agree with
He
everything.
just, Donald Trump, that's the thing about Donald Trump when he said it's not me they're coming after, it's really you, and
Mhm.
I'm just in the way.
Yep.
That is the most truthful line that I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And honestly, that it's really the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think this is Tom's way of saying that yes, this is that. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
they're not, all they want is more money to line their pockets.
Yeah. I agree. Uh,
And to
mm,
heck with the American people,
mhm.
we're just disposable to them. We're
Actually,
nothing more than cattle.
actually, he is he's lying though. If you
And
think
he's
about
not.
it, he's not lying. Like for example, like look at this Bud Light controversy that's going on. Like this was a company that supports both Democrats and Republicans, 40% Democrats, about 60% Republicans. And then you place Dylan Mulvaney on the can as a face for the party you supposedly primarily like. No, they don't care. What they care about is pleasing the moneyed men,
Hmm.
being in line with the woke agenda, just having their score, their supposed social credit, what's it called, social justice scores to go up, because you get a lot of backing and sponsors from big companies. So they really don't care about how the people feel. No, they care the fact they're losing money now. Seven, eight something billion dollars. Now they're feeling it, but when you think about it, by the very move that they did, they show you they are more about their money, about their gain, about their own success than they are about the American people.
Hmm.
And it's so obvious that I'm like, yo, that move is bold. The people who's been with you for years, you threw them under the bus because you want to line up your pocket with an agenda that is very much anti the people that has been supporting you. That is ridiculous. And
And now they're
all these,
facing the backlash of it.
they are, but all these companies are doing that. Even the Fox News and Tucker Carlson is also another one of those.
And Gillette, look at what they did with Gillette.
Yes, actually, I have a video coming up about that. Gillette just make the men look like freak and all kind of crazy name. We're calling the man who's been like, who's been
Toxic masculinity. Is
toxic.
this really the
Yeah.
best a man can get?
Uh, oh my goodness.
Boys will be boys. Yeah, the boys will be boys. They rough it up. They tumble it up. That's what
Yeah,
they do.
yeah, yeah.
They got to get that energy out somehow. And if we don't let them get it out, it turns into something much worse.
I exactly. And yeah, I did say the same thing in my reaction video from Dax. To be a man, that was literally what I said. Was like, if you keep pushing men, you keep pushing people to a point where they can no longer take it. Especially when people are not spiritually minded, they're not under the spirit of Christ, they lack self control. That stuff could spill into something worse, man. You know, and I think that's what a lot of these companies are doing, man. They're creating mental health. That's what I'm looking at. They're literally putting people in a position when they become crazy.
Yeah.
And it's again,
It's just adding that little pressure over time, and it just keep adds more and more and more and more until finally
Mhm.
something snaps.
Yeah. Look at the
And
trend.
then they can turn around and point and say, see, men are bad. Men are
Mhm.
bad. Men are bad.
Bad. After they've kind of turned up the heat and boiled the water and everything and put a lid over it too.
Mhm.
The thing is, look at the transgender movement right now. Look how prevalent that is. You think these people really care about trans people, their mental
Yeah.
health?
They're
No.
just using them as pawns.
Yes, they are, because I can make money of cutting your body parts. And there were hospitals who came out and talk about the just the
It's what, a
transgender surgery.
$20 billion
Yeah,
industry.
$20 billion industry, and each person you transition, they worth about $1 million in a lifetime of just meds and everything else that they will need to remain trans. It's like a money making business. Like, this stuff is making more money than almost any other surgeries in the entire world. So you really care about these people and their mental health, or you care about deepening your pocket?
Hmm.
It's very obvious, and I think he's calling it out from all different directions here. And I think he's more right than he is wrong. I'll just say that much.
Yeah, and that's don't get it wrong. Don't get anything twisted. I mean, I agree for the most part of what he's saying in this song. I do agree with.
Yeah. I agree.
There's very little about this song that I disagree with.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep going. Mm.
I don't want your dirty money. Money, 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 money.
Not enough soap to scrub, it's soaked in blood.
It's all about the money, 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 money.
Every time we make a buck, they take from us.
It's all about the money, 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 money.
The dollar runs our lives until we die.
It's all about the money, 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 money.
It controls your mind and they controlling mine.
Dirty dollars fill their pockets while our coffins fill the ground. They make profits, solving problems they create to keep us down. Dirty money. Dirty money. I don't want your dirty money.
He deserves a clap. He deserves a clap anyway.
For sure.
Likes and dislikes. I'll start with the dislikes. I don't like the flow in itself. The flow of the song. Maybe I need to listen to it a couple more times. I wasn't getting a sound bite that I really enjoy from Tom McDonald's. Like when you hear "Fake Woke," it's almost like you can go to sleep hearing it in your head, kind of thing. But this flow of "Dirty Money," I wasn't feeling that as well. However, the video, that's the only thing. And some of the things he said in the message, I don't fully agree with. Maybe it's because of my own preconceived notion. Maybe it's my own inability to digest the message at this time. Maybe I can come back later on and say, you know what, Tom McDonald was correct. I really wish that's the case. But I think some of the things he said, he took a couple jabs here that weren't really necessary. Um, but hey, who knows? Maybe he's come to his own revelation. Maybe he's seeing things that I'm not seeing. But I'm willing to humble myself enough to admit overall, I agree with that. 90% of the message is correct. The video is actually great. Um, I wouldn't say that impressive. It's not as impressive as I've seen before, but it's a great video overall. I've seen Nova done greater works than this, especially with Sheephold and other fake woke. Uh, I've seen better works from Nova, but this one, it's a good. If I had to rate that, I'll give this like a 8.5 out of 10. Um, that's my personal perspective on that. I mean, what do you have to say?
Um,
Sorry. Go ahead.
I for me, I do like this song for the most part. I
Mhm.
think he really gets a clear and concise message through. I personally, I do kind of like the flow. It does kind of get stuck in your head if you
Okay.
listen to it. Um, the video I do like. Um, the black and white parts kind of took me out of it a little bit. I like the scene where they're like him against the backdrop of the White House with just money everywhere and gold bars and everything.
Mhm.
Like it seems like you had like different people having different ideas as to what they had in envision for the video,
Mhm.
and those ideas may have clashed.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough. Because he
but
usually comes out and explain more about the production and everything. So.
I mean, I may be wrong. I may be completely off base, but I honestly, in all, I did like the video, and I do like the song, and I appreciate the message that he's trying to portray here because it's something that we definitely need in this day and age.
Mhm.
And like you said, I think there's some shots that I think, maybe overshooting just a little bit,
Mhm.
but for the most part, I think he's pretty much on point.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, when it comes to the money message itself, there's no arguing that.
Oh
He is,
no,
he is 100% on point. So I can't argue that. I mean, yeah, the video is great. I agree. But I think I've seen better works from them before. Yeah, but it's great.
so
You could tell. Anyway, I give them a clap. You only get a clap when you're doing a good thing. Nova put in some work. So let's give her some godly respect.
and so did Jared.
Yeah,
Jared did a very
Jared
good
also.
job.
Yeah, great song,
So
great
I
video.
mean,
Yeah, I'm for it.
and like I said, for the most part, the message, especially the line about the trucker convoy up in Canada
Mm,
and all
so
the
true.
money that they had raised through, originally, I think it ended up through they did it through Give and Go, and then at first it was another one the other big popular one, and then they froze that, and then they turned around and ended up freezing all their bank accounts and everything, and
Hmm.
basically trying to freeze and starve them out in the middle of winter.
Yeah, that was cruel.
It was like,
That was cruel.
what in the world is going on here? You
And
know,
most of these individuals, those truckers were, they were vaxxed, they were inoculated, so they weren't so much against it, they just were against the force, the mandate itself on other people. So they were not really protesting primarily for themselves, but they were protesting for
on
other
behalf
people.
of others, yeah.
Yeah, and and these people, and that's Canada. What do we expect? If you look at the way Canada runs, it's somewhat communistic in theory.
But
It's
his point is where did all that donated money go?
mm,
You know,
that's another
because
side.
there was
Right,
like
right.
millions of dollars in those accounts, and then it just vanished. You're telling me that money didn't go somewhere,
Good point.
and
Good.
now we're sending billions to places like Ukraine and stuff.
Good observation.
I mean,
Anyway, much more could be said. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's reaction video. Tom McDonald, I think he did an awesome job with this one. I have my likes and dislikes, of course. We should always be able to do that. But generally speaking, great song. Great song. 8.5, I would say, out of 10. I don't even do that for most artists. I don't think I've ever rated Tom McDonald 10. I will never rate anybody 10 because there has to always be room for progress. So, yeah, definitely. But talking about money, guys, let's be honest. Isn't that a true statement though? Like
hmm
generally speaking, like it's almost like you can follow the money. If you follow the money, you will find out everything you need to know. Like even in the Bible, it tells you that for the love of money. So God never condemns money, so people who have an issue with money altogether, you got to be balanced. The issue here is for the love of money. So money is not the root of all evil, is the love of it that is the root of all evil. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Let me get my King James version. I'm not a fan of ESV. Anyway, which while some coveted after, they've erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Yeah, that's it right there. You can actually follow the money and see where all the problems in our society lies. You can literally, it's like just like saying all roads leads to Rome. You can almost say all trouble leads to the love of money.
or all roads are paved with money.
All roads are paved with money. I like that. But I love what God says though. Like while the love of money is the root of all kind of evil, like for those of you who don't know, my channel was restored, my Look and Live channel, um, and they just decided to do it for no reason. I didn't even ask. I sent an email to tell them to close my premium with YouTube, and somebody in YouTube decided to review the reason why my channel was canceled, and they said, "Oh wow, we made a mistake. We're gonna restore your channel." But what I realized what's happening behind the scenes with these channels being canceled is not like YouTube hates content creators. What's happening is that these advertisers themselves that are going woke, that are caring more for their social score, or going after channels that are challenging their narrative and their belief system. So they refuse to put their ads on channels that are pushing for godly things, that are speaking against trends, that are speaking against things the government is doing and things like that, that are not for that race, for social justice spirit kind of thing. So if you have a channel that's pushing against any of that, the companies in YouTube are not willing to back you up, so you don't get paid. So that's why you're being demonetized. And YouTube now has to do the dirty work because of the love of money, because they want to get paid. So they end up putting a chain around your neck because they have to satisfy those that are paying their bills. That's what's happening. So we get punished because YouTube is trying to get paid. And again, the love of money. So before this wasn't the case, but the more ad revenues are coming over to YouTube, the more control they have over the space, and that also give them control over what we say. in what we do on the platform. So scary business. That's what's happening.
Just one other passage I want to give. I can't remember what the specific verse is. Is it was also
Just give me a word and
when
I'll find it.
Jesus said that give unto Caesar what is Caesar's and give unto God what is
Mm-hmm.
God's.
Mm-hmm. That yeah, as a uh, render unto Caesar the things which are Caesar,
Yep.
the things which are God. Yeah. This is referred to as the passage for separation of church and state.
Yep.
That's another thing to discuss because I think we have to be balanced about that. There's some people who, which I can definitely align with that, but I'll let you explain this passage and I'll share my thought. Go ahead.
So basically, what he's talking about here is, they ask him, well, how much should we tithe? How much are we supposed to give to God? And he said, render unto Caesar that which are Caesar's, and render unto God the things that are God's.
Mm-hmm.
So he's leaving it up to us to figure out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, whatever you think it is worth to give, that is how much you should give.
Yeah. But this particular, to add to what you've said here, the tribute to Caesar was in form of taxes
Hmm.
that they needed to pay. Yeah.
And that's what they were having an issue with, is because Caesar was taxing them so much. It was really difficult for a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
to actually tithe.
Mm,
So they were like, how can we tithe when we're being taxed so much?
yeah, yeah,
And you're starting to see that again now in the modern day.
yeah, yeah. I mean, good point. Thank you for that because